Wow, guys, I can't believe that we are finally here, like where we're finally at the Defenders. I mean, it felt like it was taking forever to get to this show, to get to this show finally streaming, and now we're here. It just felt like I was never going to get this show. That's how long it took to get to this point. So, yeah, this is gonna be a spoiler-free review, but I may mention some spoiler-ish moments from other shows. If you have not seen the other shows, you may not want to watch this video. Otherwise, stick around, hear what I gotta say. But yeah, I mean, the plot basically is, like where we dive deeper into the war between Iron Fist and the Hand, and it's very catastrophic, and it's to the point where he can't take the Hand on by himself, supposedly. And then the plot cleverly brings the other three Defenders, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage, into the fold, and the way they do it is pretty clever. It's pretty clever how they bring them together, and it's even more rewarding when it gets to the climax of the season. I'm like, wow. I mean, I was really satisfied overall with the plot and how it all comes together, what the Hand plans to do, and how does Iron Fist tie into all of this. And I mean, yeah, I mean, it's really, really satisfying. I mean, I really invested into it, and I gotta say, the first few episodes leading up to where they all four of them meet for the first time was a fair paced. I mean, I was not in a hurry for these four characters to meet. I mean, I wanted it to take its time, just a little bit, and that's what it did. And like, at least in episode one, it focuses on what they've, where are they at now before they all meet up. So that's what I was okay with. I didn't want the show to start and then all of a sudden they're together. I mean, like, what brings them together? And they do that smoothly, and I was okay with it. I mean, some people say it was slow, but I say it needed to be slow. Like for that, at least that one episode. I mean, it works off in the end. And to me, I felt like that. As you binge watch the show, it feels like it went by really fast. I mean, not in the bad way either. So yeah, and the lighting for like each character, I like how it sets the tone for each character before all four of them meet up, before they're all pulled out of their comfort zones. Well, at least Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage. And like how with Matt Murdock, he's in some red lighting at times, and with Jessica Jones, she's in a bit of a bright bluish like lighting, like in over in her world. And then with Luke Cage, he's in this bright gold, like where he's outside, or even when it's nighttime and there's like some gold lighting. I mean, that was pretty damn cool. And it didn't give Danny Rand a whole lot of lighting that I can think of. I mean, they sort of kept him in Technicolor the majority of the time, but I mean, it's at times he is in a bit of a greenish, like kind of like lighting sort of at times. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it definitely fits their characters, and that's really clever. I usually don't pay attention to that, but it's really cleverly done. I really enjoyed it. And also, like with the Hand, like, since they built them up through like Daredevil and Iron Fist, and then now it's finally here, like where it all leads, that it all comes full circle. So basically, like, I think the Hand is more like the show, the Netflix universe is Hydra, like how Hydra's causing problems in the movies with the Marvel movies, and then the Hand is causing problems in the Netflix universe. So that's pretty clever. And speaking of which, we finally meet the head of the Snake, Alexandra, portrayed by Sigourney Weaver, and she's a really good villain, and she plays her beautifully, and they do give her depth, and she's not just all bad, like, oh, I do bad things because I enjoy it. I mean, she almost believes that she's doing it for a good cause, and I think that is enough to make, a character like that, a villain like that, pose a pretty big threat. I wouldn't say she's the worst threat that they ever faced, but she's she's equally threatening with the other members of the Hand that you've seen already. But in my opinion, Kilgrave might be the worst, like most threatening, the most worst villain that any of these characters in the Netflix universe has faced, since he has the ability to control people, or he had. I mean, past tense, Jessica killed him, but you get where I'm going with this. And then Madame Gao, I mean, I didn't expect her to get that much screen time, but she does, and she is a part of the action. I mean, when she is in there, you know how you see her do one small thing where she pushes Daredevil like across the room, and she does the same thing with Iron Fist, like in their own shows. But here, she is really a part of the action. She's really going crazy with that ability, and I just enjoy it. And then you're like, well, damn. No wonder Wilson Fisk was so intimidated by her. Even though they live in a world where aliens, basically try to annihilate New York, and what some of these characters have gone through themselves, they still think that how Danny became Iron Fist is a little absurd and whatnot. And it's like, even Jessica, finds it a little absurd too. I'm like, you've basically been through some shit with a man who can manipulate, who can basically tell people what to do, and they listen to him. I mean, like, why? You figured their minds would be more open to what they have witnessed, like what they've seen on the news, like with the Avengers and whatever, and what they've gone through themselves. I mean, like, you figured you would have a much more open mind by now. But that's just funny how any character in this universe would think, that's not possible. What is this? Like in Jessica Jones, like where they're like, a man who can control people. I mean, that sounds ridiculous. I mean, like, there's no way that can happen. I mean, even though you are basically living in a world where, aliens nearly wiped out New York. I mean, that's just funny to me. The way they treated Iron Fist in this show is way better than they treated him in his own show, like where he's much better developed, and the writers know exactly what they want to do with him, and it's not all cluttered with business talk and all that stuff. And then it's more focused on him being Iron Fist and trying to fight the Hand. He's more focused on that. He's not really focusing on being Danny Rand and running the business and all that crap, but I mean, it's more focused on the task at hand. So, and it sets him up where it paves the way for him for like a solid season 2 for Iron Fist. I mean, yeah, Iron Fist season 1 was the weakest of the solo shows, but it was not unwatchable to me. I mean, I still had hope into his character, into his story, and this show definitely rewarded me with holding on to that hope. And I think I'll have even more rewards to come, like when season 2 of Iron Fist comes around. So I'm looking forward to it. And with Daredevil, he finally has time to shine, because I felt like he didn't really have time to shine in his own show of season 2 with the Punisher stepping in. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Punisher. Jon Bernthal is the scariest Punisher ever. I mean, and he's probably the best Punisher ever. But when it comes to, I mean, in the end, it's Daredevil's show. So, what they've done with the Punisher was done really well, but it was inconvenient in regards to Daredevil. I mean, like, where he steals the spotlight from him, like where you're not as interested in what Daredevil's doing than you are with the Punisher. So, spoiler alert, one minor spoilers, the Punisher is not in this show, so that's good. He's better off doing his own thing, and he doesn't quite fit into the Defenders, like, at least not right now, but he works better by himself to me, in my opinion. But yeah, so it gives, even though it's not the Daredevil series, he shares the series with the other 3 Defenders, but still, they don't don't basically knock them out of the spotlight. They don't steal the spotlight from each other. Each of them have their own spotlights. So that's what also another thing that I saw a thing about the show. And Luke and Jessica, you know, they're still great as always. I enjoyed their characters and their own solo journeys, and how they met in her solo journey, and then how we follow Luke after that, and then they come together, and the scenes that they have where it gives them a few opportunities to talk, where it's just the two of them. I was satisfied. You know, it opens the door to many possibilities of where that can go. So, and my nitpicks with this show, they're really minor. One is where the fight scene in episode 5 and the fight scenes in episode 7, where they cut too quickly, where you can't tell who's fighting who. I enjoyed the fights, but I just would like to know who's fighting who at times. You know, like sometimes they'll cut quick to here, into here. Who's fighting who? Who's fighting who? Who's fighting who? And my other nitpick is with there's a Japanese character that steps into the fold, and with the hand, I can't remember his name, but he speaks Japanese through the entire show. And I mean, I'm cool with that, but I was like, I would have liked for him to speak English every once in a while. You know what I mean? Let's take a minor break from reading subtitles. I mean, he understands clearly what everybody else is saying. Everybody else is speaking English to him. I mean, Alexandra speaks Japanese to him just a little bit, but the majority of the time, people are speaking English to him, and it's just like, you know, it would be like, you know, I mean, even like Nobu, you know, mixed it up, where he speaks English at times, and then he speaks Japanese, and then Madame Gao, where she was speaking like Chinese through the majority of season 1 of Daredevil, and then near the end she starts speaking English. You know, I mean, it could be like that, but I'm guessing that the actor, you know, can only speak better in Japanese than he does in English. That's my only theory on that. And one other nitpick is in the third episode, and it involves Matt and Jessica. If you've seen that episode, then you probably know what I'm talking about. I'm like, yeah, that could have been done a little better. But that's it. I mean, the nitpicks were really minor. Other than that, I still enjoyed it, and the fight scenes are really top notch. And when you see Iron Fist do his thing and he's fighting somebody, it's done much better, you know, than it was in his own show. And yeah, and also when it cuts from one scene to another, where let's say we're following Matt Murdock, and it cuts to Luke Cage, and then it's like we see quick cut scenes of a subway just going along the tracks, and then it's like we're traveling from Hell's Kitchen to Harlem to Manhattan, you know, and etc. So I thought that was pretty cool. And but yeah, I mean, when they announced that this was going to be an 8-episode arc, I felt kind of gypped, like, what the fuck, why can't it be 13 or whatever? But I was okay with it. It didn't water down my excitement for the show, but I still would have liked a little bit more episodes. It would have, you know, I mean, some gaps weren't, just a few gaps weren't filled that they could have filled, but still, overall, I was still excited. I still enjoyed the show for what it was, and the only thing I would do is add a couple more episodes to it. You know, I don't think it would be filler. I think it would still pay off, you know. I mean, we'll just get a little bit more, but still, I still enjoyed it. And I mean, I don't want to say that, you know, the 8-episode thing was a bad thing, but it was still really fun, and I still had a great time with it, and it definitely opened the door to what directions they can go with in phase 2 of the Netflix universe. And I'm really looking forward to what they have up their sleeves, and then what brings them all back together. You know, like, what brings them all back together. You know, it's got to be something more threatening. But, you know, the hand was a good start off, and like I said, you know, it's Iron Fist's battle, and then it brings, you know, other characters, and it brings the other defenders into the mix. Much like in the first Avengers, like where there's Thor, or there's Loki, he's wreaking havoc, and basically that's Thor's fight, and then the other Avengers are pulled into it. In my opinion, anyway. But you get where I'm going with this, and yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the hell out of this show, and with that all being said, this gets 4.5 chair spins out of 5. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.5 chair spins. So, I mean, I'm sad that I'm all caught up because I want more of it. I mean, that's how much I enjoyed it, and it may be a while before we see them again. I mean, the next thing that on the list is The Punisher, and I'm really looking forward to how that's going to be played out. But yeah, man, I will say that I love how this show plays around with the iconic bromance that Iron Fist and Luke Cage have, you know, like in the comics, in the history of the comics. But they do that really well in this show, and by the time they see each other again, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like, it's gonna make the fans really happy, like with the fans of that dynamic. I think you guys will be really happy with it. And man, I mean, like, when it has humor, it doesn't feel forced, and when it has emotion, it really turns the blade in your stomach. It really did with me in some of those emotional scenes. When you watch this show, you will understand which parts they were. It's like, oh, he was talking about that. Oh, he was definitely talking about that. So yeah, binge watch it. Definitely, you're gonna love it. If you love the other shows, you're gonna love this. Sit through Iron Fist, and it will pay off in the end, I promise you. So if you guys enjoyed my review for this show, make sure you thumb up the video and click subscribe if you're a newbie to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, y'all.